Good morning, PT on Ice crowd. It is January 7th, 2019. Today is Monday. My name is Mike Eisenhart, and I am lead faculty for the APHPT division and curriculum development. And I'm going to be talking to you today about achievement and kind of the achievement formula. And I figure we'll get rolling right into it this morning. I got about 15 minutes, and then I've got a whole stack of meetings ready to roll. Good morning, Sean. So I'm going to just kind of dive right into it. So let me hit the clock, and we will get rolling. All right, so the achievement formula. The reason why I thought I wanted to talk about this morning is because I think it's both timely. You know, it's a great time of year to talk about this. Everybody's kind of thinking about this anyway, and, you know, change is on people's mind. Both us personally and any clients that we want to bring it to, but also because it's really something we need to dive into and think about. And this weekend and this past week were a great time for me to kind of think about it and dive into it a little bit more and kind of go back and read through some old references and just kind of pull it back up. And I'll give you a little context on it. So at Proactivity, we actually consider ourselves an achievement business, right? Like that's what we think we do. We actually put it out front. If you look at our company logo, it says Proactivity, a human achievement business or a human achievement company. Because we think that's what we ultimately do. And there's some context here. It's not just sort of like the rah-rah cheerleader, like, oh, everybody can win, everybody can achieve. But there's actually something there. I mean, even if you look in the context of Martin Seligman, who is, the grandfather or the father of positive psychology and the idea of well-being, you know, he has his own version of the elements, and his elements include achievement. There's an A. You know, his model is called the PERMA model. You can Google it. You can certainly go and check out some of his resources. But the A in his PERMA model is achievement. And so in many ways, we thought of all of the things that kind of, you know, foster well-being, so says, you know, positive psychology, the A really resonated with us. We thought we could kind of do that. And for a while now, that's what we've considered ourselves. We've really thought about what is it that we do? What is it that we bring to the market? What we bring to the market is people achieving things and that kind of like amazing sensation, right? And in fact, one of the folks who's no longer with us, as far as working with us, he sort of took a career change. His name was Phil, and one of the things that he said in a staff meeting was the thing that we love about achievement, the reason why I think that's really what we do is because everybody experiences it the same way, right? Like it's the same, like if you ever look at someone who's achieving something, they don't need to say anything, you just know, right? That sensation of crossing the finish line, that sensation of doing something that is really sort of, you know, amazing, you know, and you have this amazing sense of I've accomplished something, I've achieved, and that is universal. It's a sort of a universal sensation. And so that sort of, you know, sets the context. And so in a sense, although I guess if you have enough achievements in life, you become an expert. That's not how we think we've become experts. We've become experts by really studying what is it require to set other people up to sort of experience this. And so I thought what I would do is kind of get it there. Now, this is not, what I'm about to tell you is not a new idea, right? And that is that the achievement formula in many ways comes down to effort. Right? Like that's really what it is. If we dial it down, if we sort of distill everything down, effort is the currency of future success. Like if you really want to know, like what are we going to start paying out in? It's not going to be in dollars and it's not going to be in Bitcoin. You know, like that might be actually how we, transact. But if you really want to know, like what are you going to have to pay? What are the dues to pay to succeed, to achieve? It's effort. I mean, it really boils down to that. Now, that's not new, right? Sophocles, kind of the playwright, the 400s-ish BC, I don't even know. He actually had a quote that was maybe one of the first ones, and it talked about turmoil. And it was this idea that, listen, remember, nothing happens without turmoil. Right? Like there is no action, there is no change without turmoil. And, you know, kind of translated, if you sort of take the language at the time and translate it, what he really was saying was you can't get anywhere without effort. And so I was reminded of that this weekend, right? So the story goes, some of you may have seen this on Twitter. I grew up kind of like a Star Wars geek. I love those movies. They're like one of the kind of cinematic experiences of my childhood. And the one that I love the most is The Empire Strikes Back, right? Like, in my opinion, it's the best of them all. And I've got lots of different reasons for that. And so Lindsay gave me as a Christmas gift, she gave me this awesome gift. And for those of you who have followed along, you know that we're really very much about experiences. I've kind of talked about this on this podcast before, this idea that building experiences for people and transformative experiences in particular are the single greatest value you can bring to a market, right? If you really want to do something valuable for someone, create an experience for them, right? Don't sell them health services. Get them to do something that is an achievement for them, that they just happen to sneak in some health, right? So like get the achievement, get the awesome, get some health out of it, but the truth is that it's the experience that they're going to remember. And so she bought me this experience through the New Jersey State Orchestra, where they basically show the movie Empire Strikes Back on a massive screen, and then they have a live symphony there playing the score. And so they're sort of playing the music along with this movie, and it was just awesome. I mean, it was just what a cool experience. And something that I'll remember for a very, very long time. But one of the reasons why Empire is the best one is because that's where they introduce the work, right? That's where they introduce Yoda. You get in there and you meet Yoda for the first time, and Luke's got to go and do all the crazy crap, to get to become a Jedi, right? In many ways, I think that is the hero's journey. That's what we're all sort of built to do. That's the achievement. The achievement is the effort. It's the hard work. And so if we fast forward, right, we take it from Sophocles, which seems like a myth, even though this is a real person, and certainly the mythical story of Empire Strikes Back and the Jedi and the Force. Then we can take, well, what does the Force represent? Some people would tell you that the Force represents love, and that, there is an actual quote. So I've mentioned M. Scott Peck before, The Road Less Traveled, a psychiatrist who wrote a book, and he actually has a quote sort of about this. Right, and I'm gonna paraphrase it because I'm probably gonna get it wrong. But he's basically saying, and you can Google this: love becomes real only through exertion. Like, I love that, right? That's exactly right. And love seems like a soft topic. Like maybe that seems kind of soft. You said this was going to be a formula. It is going to be a formula. I'm going to fast forward even further and tell you that we now have it actually in mathematical terms, and somebody at least thinks they've proved it out. And so M. Scott Peck is saying, look, like the force, whatever you want to call it, like in the world, is relationships, and relationships are rooted in love, and love only works with exertion. And whether you think that's mushy and soft and like, I love you, man, or just simply like, listen, what love really is it's the work of relationships. That translates directly to what we do every day. That is, in essence, that is population health management and population health. Like you're going to get in and do the dirty work. Why? Because you have a relationship with a community, or a relationship with an employer, or a relationship with a person, or whatever you want to call it. Now I'm pumped about the fact that this message has resonated a little bit. I mean, I couldn't tell you how excited I am that there are like 26 people in this first intro cohort that started up yesterday. It's great. And I mean, I look through and I see some of the names, and like, I'm pumped about it. Because what it's saying is people are starting to get it. They're starting to understand our world of therapists and conservative care professionals are starting to get the idea that we want to feel that achievement. We want to get to that next step in our career. We want to broaden our horizon and widen our lens and do more. And all of that comes down to our ability in many ways to have this new relationship with the market that we serve, and in many ways to create new markets altogether. And so now let me get you to the actual formula. And the formula in many ways is E squared. It's not just effort, but it's effort squared. Now, E squared, I could tell you, ironically, E squared sent me an article this weekend, which kind of put me over the top. E squared in my world is my brother Eric. Eric Eisenhart, E squared. He sort of like sent me this article from Harvard Business Review. And it was before I even knew I was kind of thinking about talking about this stuff. And he sent it to a couple of us over the weekend. Said, hey, check this out. It's a good one. So it's not that. But what it is fast forward to 2016, and you've got Angela Duckworth. Now, Angela Duckworth, if you don't know who she is the person who wrote the book on grit. Right? We hear the word grit a lot. People talk about it like, that's a gritty performance, or grit in general. And ultimately, she was kind of the super smart, fellow underneath Seligman, who came back and said, well, we've got to define this. And if you don't know the story, she's done some work with West Point cadets and the National Spelling Bee. And what she found was that grit, the actual grit score, outpredicted a lot of other things, right? It outpredicted IQ, for example. It outpredicted the cadet score at West Point, right? The cadet score is a whole bunch of different measures that all come together. But grit, which is basically passion and perseverance, right? That's really what it is. It's high energy over the long term. It's the person who's willing to slog it out even in the face of adversity, right? I've talked about the hole-in-one, or you hit the great shot in golf and that sort of pushes you on. It's the person who doesn't necessarily even need that. They push on no matter what because they're so committed to the end result. They're committed to the achievement. Well, she's gone back, and in 2016, she actually went back and defined mathematically. And what she says is the math of it is talent times effort squared, right? Like that's really what it is. Talent times effort squared. And so what she's doing there, she's kind of making an acknowledgement that says, listen, if you really want to know what achievement is, the achievement, if you want to know what it is, it takes talent. Like there are certain things you cannot do without at least some requisite talent, right? And the example they always use is, look, I'm never slam dunking a basketball. Right? Like I just don't have the natural abilities to do it. At least I don't think I do. Okay? But that's the key thing to keep in mind. Is there's a nod there. You have to have the requisite natural ability to do whatever it is, but it's not the bigger of the two. And what she says is, look, it's talent times effort. That's one step, right? And that equals skill. That's what a skill is. It's a talent times an effort. Okay? But then she says, take that and multiply it again by effort. Because that's how disproportionately important effort is. So what does that get us to, right? That's effort squared. Remember, that's a square. That's a non-linear result. And I know, like heads are blowing off at this point because here we are back again with curves that don't look like a straight line. That 1 + 1 does not equal 2 in this case, right? 1 unit of effort would give us 1 unit of result. 2 units of effort would give us 4 units of result. 3 would give us 9, and so on and so forth. Right? It's going to give us an exponential, or at least a non-linear result. Like that right there says it all. So this time of year, what should we be talking about? What we should be talking about is the disproportionate sort of asymmetrical win that comes with effort. Like that's everything. It's everything that we need to be thinking about. It's everything that we need to be preaching. It's everything that we need to be finding ways for ourselves, because that is the key. So says Duckworth's mathematics, okay, and Sophocles' play, and George Lucas's his version of a play, like whatever, okay. It says it's the effort that actually gets us there. Okay, so that's, I think, where I want to leave it. I got 2 minutes and 43 seconds left, but this is what I think it means. What I think it means is, for all of us, like translate it down, what I think it means is this. Show up, right? Like be there. The opportunities will present, but you have to be standing there when they present. And that means you have to show up. It doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It definitely doesn't mean you have to be perfect. Take it from someone who has learned that multiple times over, okay? But you have to show up. You have to take the first step. You have to be there in the moment, because you can't enjoy the moment, right? We all talk about this idea of mindfulness and be in the moment. Well, you can't actually enjoy and be in the moment if you're not standing there. And that means effort. That means if you sit stationary, if you sit idle, if you don't overcome inertia, you can't possibly achieve. You can't win. I mean, mathematically, it can't happen. Now, that is really hard. I'm not going to say that it's easy. It's not easy. It's easy to not get moving. It's easy to not change direction. It's easy to not put in effort. Okay? Like that's what the world tells us. I mean, we have stimulus all around us that will keep us from doing something productive or toward an achievement. But this is a time of year. And so I just want to kind of leave it with a huge hat tip to the 25 people who made that effort. January, 6th is not a great time of year to take a continuing ed course. Let's be honest. It's not a perfect time of year, but 25 people showed up and said, hey, I want to do this. And let me tell you, they are on fire. I mean, they were answering questions on the the feed before I could even post the questions. I had people actually texting me and saying, "Hey, like, how do I answer this question?" I'm thinking, like, "Oh my gosh, you're way ahead of me already." That is awesome, because that says that people are ready to put in the effort. People are ready to roll up the sleeves and do the work. And if you're willing to do that, right? I mean, that's like the get good. If you want to get good, especially in this space, this prevention, health promotion, population health space, it is a foreign space. It's not a space that we come out with lots of training or lots of knowledge on. So you have to do the work, the effort. It's effort squared. All right, I'll leave it there. I think that, hopefully that's the kind of thing that you can kind of think to yourself. Put a marker somewhere, put a Q somewhere so you can see it. Maybe put, the E squared, but that's the bottom line. You remember, you get a disproportionate result for the effort you put in. You get double the result. Talent times effort times effort. All right, it's only Monday. It's a great Monday. It's January 7th. It's the beginning of a new year. The holiday sort of stuff is dying down. For most of us, we sort of had this past couple of days to sort of get off of the crappy food and eating too much and drinking too much and maybe getting back to our normal routine. Just remember, don't get all the way back to your normal routine, because it's a beautiful time of life to change. And change starts with that first step, right? Journey of 1,000 miles and all that great stuff. Have a great week. It's only Monday. Make it count.